My game step. My game step. I'm here to shuffle up the deck. You'll probably think I'm famous cause I got a blue check. I remember playing ball up in Montreal, Quebec. The richest people that I met, they said they really were from Czech. My sales pitch deadly, so you better consult. If I'm a rap, then I figure I would give it my all. Cause I can rock a 16 better than Paul Gasol. I'm like a pager with the shot, with a basketball. I got more love for the game, like Sanaa Lathan. My flow is game changing, like an audible from Peyton Manning. Good luck to my haters, because success is taken. I got a nice career going, I got some nice money. If I don't follow my dreams, it will forever haunt me. My only option might be playing in another country. I started from a city where it's sunny, crummy. I started from the bottom, it was nothing. I don't need no type of recognition. If anything, I'll get suspended for the views that I'm spitting because it causes friction. They'll probably say that I'm speaking in reprehension like LeBron when he left Cleveland. I don't need any permission to express my feelings. I dreamed it, this is my premonition. They try to recondition Christians through these new inventions. The reinvention of religions through these televisions. Shit is different. I ain't with it cause the shit is wicked. I'ma weather the storm, I'll never surrender. Learn it from my ancestors that took the fall like September. My skin color getting judged like fat versus slender. If I was transgender, I'd get praised like Bruce Jenner. I'm not here to judge cause in the end, we all sinners. At least in God's eyes, the only vision a real mirror. Take them blinders off and you'll see a lot clearer. It's not about yourself, you gotta see the bigger picture. Yeah. Hold up. If money is happiness, then why is it suicides? Are they stressing from bills or a loan that was subsidized? When I turn the news on, only bullshit gets publicized. Neglection of different wars, skin colors and genocides. Is it conspiracies or is it organized? Good people get crucified, the evil gets sanctified, glorified through the media and the clothing lines. Why when I ask these questions, people look so surprised. Gotta question everything like Joel Osteen's mentioned. Some people wondering why people getting held for ransom. Endorsements of violence in every single rap anthem. That's the key to making your album go platinum. It's easy to make money, but it's harder not to spend it. We all guilty of it, it's a constant hypnotism. I guess it's safe to say that I'm the new renegade. I wanna dedicate my music to the people that always hate. On the track of Ruler Y, only the strongest survive. Yeah. Jay Kirk, let's make it work.
What is up, y'all? We're here. We did it.
Good evening.
Ian, we did it. I'm going to pop some music back in here so it's fun.
Hooray.
So we get those fun party vibes because it's New Year's tomorrow.
New Year's Eve.
Did you pick out your New Year's Eve sweatpants yet?
Oh, yeah.
I'm there.
Ready.
I'm there. I'm digging in so deep. I'm going to start my New Year's Eve party early in the afternoon by just completely sitting around and doing nothing.
Gonna go to bed at 11:45, despite New Year's Eve.
Oh, yeah.
Despite
I don't even want to
this
make
year
it to the
and
countdown.
next.
I feel like the countdown is so sort of, corporate nowadays. I don't want to support it. A lot of people don't know this, but the New Year's Eve countdown was actually invented by Walmart in 1945 as part of a ad campaign.
It's a big sellout. I miss the old shit.
I want that. I want that old New Year's.
Yeah,
that old New Year's Eve. You sit around.
Before they dropped any ball on.
No, there was no ball dropping. You gave a family member an orange, and you said thank you, and you went to bed. Before New Year's, obviously. Hi. Happy Thursday night. Welcome to the Hi There Show. A show where a couple of mid to late 30s UX designers sit around and pick at tech things. My name is Nick Brunt. I am joined, of course, as always, by Ian Conrad. What up, Ian?
Yo, Nick. Sitting here being a late 30s critical person, ready to critique some experiences that I've had.
Critical's good. Don't want to be skeptical. Skeptical, that term in 2021 isn't so good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a critic.
That crowd. Yeah,
Critical.
we'll criticize. Well, good. Cool. I'm glad to be on the internet. We have been jumping through tech hurdles ever since we started the show almost a year ago, almost a full year ago. And I think we're there. I think we're streaming. Of course, streaming in Figma, our favorite design program that we use on the show, of course, because you can do the multiplayer mouse thing.
That's
And we're
right.
going to do it. So we're talking home automation this evening. I titled the stream the UX review, so we're gonna look at Apple's new home automation stuff here.
Yeah, I've been dabbling. I've been dabbling lately. Maybe you can see like the light change.
Oh, I get it. That's what you were doing. I thought it was broken.
Woo. No, I've been dabbling, and I cracked open the Home app on my iPhone, and I was playing around. I got some cool different devices that can do different things. Like I got my ventilation hooked up to it and whatnot.
See, that's pretty cool. So let's get a rundown. Let's get some context. How are you automating your home?
Well, first thing I have to say, it's funny. I used to think this stuff was really stupid, and there is some stuff that is kind of still stupid about it.
Yeah, it's all stupid. It's all pretty, like, they're on-off switches.
It's pointless, and it's just been something that's keeping me busy inside my home during COVID, where we're supposed to
that's
be
it.
still. We're
You
locked
got
inside
it.
forever. I might as well make my home a little bit smarter, or so I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I think we get to the
Anyway.
crux of the stream here. I mean, we're done 4 minutes in. I was bored, and I was stuck with COVID, and I thought, why not make my home into a robot?
Yeah, the user story of that is, at the end of the day, I was bored and I wanted to play around with some stuff.
Yeah, I, as the user, want to automate my home so that I have more things to fiddle with during the day.
So I have something new to obsess over that is not reading COVID variants, the newest COVID variants.
Have you heard about the new variant?
I don't know why they named the last one Omicron, because that sounds like the final boss.
So I
Is there a new
heard
one?
it does sound like the final boss. It was down near the end, and one of the Greek numerals in that chain was Z,
Okay.
and which is the first name of the president of China, and so they skipped that one. Right? That would be terrible, and they got to Omicron. I hope they name the next. They should do like a tie-in for the next one and name it something like Morpheus. Right? Because that movie came out, The Matrix came out. Get into it.
Let's get in. It should be doing a media tour.
Doritos Sweet Chili Heat, the variant.
Man, if COVID wasn't, if it wasn't quite so bad, corporations would be sponsoring it already. Doritos.
Get into it. Yeah. I know. I don't know this person. They're in like an extended circle, but their crime is so egregious that it's gotten back to me, and I can't stop thinking about it. But they pronounce it COVID.
Oh no.
Yeah, like chronically for the whole time, like COVID.
No, can't do that.
It's just
Legal.
wrong. It's just wrong. Although we had a briefing from the prime minister of the province that we both live in today, and he kept calling it Omnicron.
Oh no, that's a common
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, repeatedly. Omnicron kills me. It's Omicron, like the Transformer. Cybertron kind of looks like a COVID virus, which is pretty cool. Okay. Anyway, we're automating our home. I want to automate my home. I've taken the blue pill, and I want my home to tell me how to live. How do we get there?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's what we all truly want. I mean, this screenshot you have here has some cool, interesting stuff. Like you got, I mean, I think there's a million different things you could automate if you had them. Like they've got sprinkler, lights, shades. Like you can control your blinds and stuff. So you know, I could see how like, okay, it's hot out. You could detect the weather and have like, you know, the air conditioning come on and the shades can shut and stuff. But
yeah, I don't want to dump on the
I started
concept
with
of
the
this, but
lights.
yeah.
And they were cool. And then, but I didn't really see that as, you know, the Hue lights. I didn't really see that as like smart home stuff. Like I wasn't in this Home Hub app doing anything with that. Yeah, you can like you could do some automations. Like I have like, oh, good night, we'll turn all the lights off. You could, you know, and stuff like that. But I never really thought about it as like smart home. Like I'm actually doing something here. It was just some cool colored lights that I could play with from an app. You know, dope.
Yeah.
But then my ventilation system broke for my house, and it was getting too humid. And turns out that it's like there's fans, you know, that connect to like a, you know, control panel, and it ventilates air, brings air in, and then pushes air out of the place in each room, right? So anyway, my dad helped me look at that, and it turns out it's kind of fried, but we could bypass it so that you could just plug the fans right into the wall outlet, basically, so that it's skipping the brains of the thing and just turning the fans on and off.
Okay.
So he's like, oh yeah, you
Which
can
is
just like
super
I hooked
cool.
it into yeah, so it solved my problem immediately because I just needed some ventilation. So I hooked that into like a power bar, so it had an on-off switch on it, and there you go. It's like, you know, if I needed to turn on the ventilation, I could flick a switch. So that was pretty neat. Then I was like, oh, I have these smart plugs that I wasn't using, that I was using for lights at my old place, just to basically like a modern light timer. So I hooked those into it. And this ventilation system has a fan that goes out and a fan that comes in. So I put one of those in each, and I could control the fans independently of each other if I wanted to. And so that was neat, but I technically they run both at the same time. And then I was like, okay, so this is cool. How can now I can turn it on from my phone. I don't have to go into the closet to turn it on. And I was like, now what can I do? So now I'm actually got a need for this smart home stuff, sort of.
Yeah.
And so then I set it up on a couple timers. So it's like, all right, turn it on like in the evening and in the morning to kind of clear out the humidity a bit. Windows were fogging up. And it actually worked a little bit. I got a little humidity monitor, a cheap one, and it was working. So I was like, well, is there a way that I could like detect the humidity and do it based on that? And it turns out there is. You can get any device if you want to buy it. And it looks like there's lots of different things, and they're starting to work better with the different devices. Like there's Apple and Google and Amazon, Alexa. Like there's all the different.
I'm
what do they
assuming
call
that
it?
with like
Ecosystems?
Apple's ecosystem, that like compatibility is probably kind of an issue.
So I got this little thing that goes in your house that measures like temperature, humidity, and air quality.
Okay, so you're doing a deep dive. You're taking metrics.
Yeah, it started from me needing to like fix my what you call it, not HVAC, but you know what I mean. Ventilation.
Yeah.
It's just the ventilation. There's no heating.
It's the fan on your furnace.
It's an air exchanger. There's not even a furnace.
Okay,
just
there it is.
moves
Air exchanger.
in and out. Yeah, all the way to like now I have it set to trigger if the humidity goes up to a certain amount. Then it can kick these fans on for like half an hour or something. And it's pretty cool.
So that is pretty cool.
And so then I was like, oh, this is pretty neat. You could do some neat stuff. What else did I get? And then I got, I ended up getting like that same little device, but for outside. So then I can get the temperature and humidity outside and like air pressure, which I guess helps you detect if it's going to rain or not.
I want to sense everything now. I want the
and then,
humidity.
so
I want the wind speed. I want. I bet you there's no limit, especially people out there who would invest in like Arduinos or Raspberry Pis and code up their own Python system where you could do things like measure water flow with servos in a pipe, or you could take metrics on like I don't know, you could kind of do anything. You could take metrics on like how much a door was open and closed in the day with different kinds of sensors that you could buy.
Yeah,
But
and I
something
think
tells me all of that wild stuff that's not turning a switch off and on is probably not accessible for Apple.
it's yeah, I think there's a lot you could do like in a layer deep. Like there are like, yeah, doors. There's kind of everything at this point. There are like doors, door and window sensors. Like I guess that could really tie in. Like they could say like, oh, if the window's open, don't turn the air conditioning on and stuff. But
No, I want
Yeah.
everything. When, what
This is-
time, log it. Oh, is this your
But yeah, I bought this. It's just a little tiny. It's like 2 inches by 2 inches.
Okay, I'll get it in the frame. I'll get it. How much was it?
Oh, I can move. I was gonna put it down here. This was $100, I think.
That's pretty cool.
But
I
yeah,
kinda
the
want
air
one.
quality I thought was cool. I mean, what's my air quality? Just measures like.
So is that
all
reading into your Apple app? Like,
yeah. So
is
this
your
here's the and so here's the. So the one that so this is the indoor one. The outdoor one looks similar. It looks the same actually. It just has different data. And yeah, so here's the rub. That took me like 40 minutes to explain that. But here's the rub. So yeah, each of these devices, like this one's from a company called Eve. So I've got a couple of these. Above here, I've got my thermostats, right? You know, that's another company. They have it. They have their own app. And then Hue is below it. It's the lights. They've got their own app, which makes sense because you know when you're controlling the lights, you're gonna want specific things for that specific device. So it makes sense they have their own apps. All of those apps tie into Apple HomeKit, right? Which pulls everything into the Apple Home app up above, which is when you see all these things tile across. These are all the different devices from all the different companies and all the different apps kind of like pulling into one spot. So in that sense, it's very cool. It's all
Okay,
connected
yeah,
to each
I was
other.
getting ready to dump on this thing, but that sounds pretty cool. That's what
Yeah,
that's
so
what I'm
it's-
looking
it's-
for.
at a baseline, it's very good. And instead of smart home, like I've been kind of thinking it's like the connected. People call it connected home sometimes, and that makes sense because everything's connected, and everything can kind of connect to each other. So I can have that. So the temperature, the indoor room sensor can get data, and then it can trigger a separate company's device, the thermostat, to turn on, or it can trigger the fans to turn. You can do, connect everything together in that sense. We'll get into like
The
some
UX
wishful
of it
stuff there.
all.
Yeah, but
I
so
mean-
in that sense, yeah, it all gets pulled into here. But if you look at, then when you get looking at the Apple Home app, it's almost got me thinking like it's so basic. When you come back and look at, say, like the weather apps, like in the climate, I guess they call it apps.
All right, so
The visualizations are just a bit different. Like you can see interesting stuff.
it is cool. I mean, so I guess if you're new around here, we talk a lot about UX UI. Obviously, we can't come from like a nuanced perspective where we're looking at the massive amounts of research, or maybe not massive amounts of research that went into making this app. But I say this completely top of mind. It's sort of a lazy visual presentation. It's hard to comment on the UX because as a user who's never used this before, I see a bunch of devices, they're clearly labeled, and their on-off states are made abundantly clear to me. So that's cool. Like, I can turn things off and on, and here's the list of things that I can do. So I know what it does. That dashboard up above, though, dog. Like, come on. That's the worst.
Well, and it's, I mean, you can customize it a little bit, like with what shows up here, but it's, yeah, it just doesn't, it just doesn't do, like, once, like, and again, like, we looked at that screenshot, and it had, like, blinds and sprinklers and stuff on it. I don't even have, like, a ton of stuff, and, like, if you look at this thing where it says, like, 1.5 to 17.5, that's, like, that's all falling into one bucket because it's temperature.
Yeah.
But and then there's 56 to 80, and that's humidity, but it's like it's combining the outdoor temperature sensor with the indoor ones and putting them in like one block, and it's like, I don't want, you know what I mean? Like, separate that out. Like,
I'm having a hard time. I'm having a hard time interpolating this graphic. I'm sure once you've used the system, or you're probably much more familiar with what these mean. But to me, this is telling me it could be 1.5 or 17.5 degrees, which is up, but it's an orange up, so it's sort of a cautionary up, like not a good up. It's sort of like a maybe up. And then it's 56 to 80% water, and that is good. That's good. Like, that's the hierarchical data that we're looking at. I would say, too, from a UI perspective, that gray circle looks like a progress ring meter to me.
Yeah.
Like, I know that you have to put information in there, but I would probably want to make sure that it's in line with this stuff. Especially where users can customize that background, because who fucking knows what they're going to put in there. Maybe they'll put a backlit picture of the cat, and it's all gray, and it doesn't work with the bar. But, anyway, I'm sorry. Jumping back to what you were talking about before, like other weather apps,
yeah,
they're able to display this data so much better. 1.5 to 17.5 just seems like bad data. So that one's tough.
If you scroll down, if you tap on that, you get this thing that'll pop up that shows they call it climate, because it's like grouping all the climate data together.
Have that? Do we have that in here? Climate. So we're getting more tiles.
I see what it's doing, and that it's the stuff that's above, like at the top, is like the status, and then you've got like all the individual accessories. So it's like 2 lights on, 2 fans on, you've got some temperatures. It's like, okay, cool, but it doesn't account for the fact that I have a temperature. I'm measuring temperature inside, and I'm measuring temperature outside. So it's like, yeah, that combination is like it's taking the lowest temperature and the highest temperature, which might make sense if I was
because you could be on your balcony, or you could be, yes, if you own an estate, that might be an issue. I have multiple buildings.
Like inside, you're not going to have a lot of variance in temperature, but like going and it gets even weirder, like when it's a negative outside, like if it's -2 degrees, then you've got -2 to, it's just a weird, it's just not really what I want. And I wish that I could somehow ungroup these things and, like, you know what I mean? Like, just put outside temperature and inside temperature separate. Not that I can't look at this and interpret that info, it's just messy.
What does air quality good do? Like, if you tap that tile, what happens? Because to me, air quality good is off right now, and if I tap it, it's going to become on.
Well, it'll show you, and this is where the app starts to get really uninspiring and kind of almost feel like it's, and I get what they're trying to do. I think they're just trying to, like, not commit too much. But if you go to the next screen to the right of that,
volatile organic compound density, 690 UGs per meter cubed. Hell yeah. I feel comfortable. I woke up this morning and I checked that number.
It's good.
Sorry, it is good. Well, see, it did say good. It said good. It says good. It's good. Shut up. says Apple. All right. Sorry, tell me about this panel. So we've tapped air quality. So this is,
it's not useful to look at, but well, I
yeah.
guess I don't have it here. If you scroll down to the bottom, it links to the app, and you can click and. I didn't take a screenshot of that, so you can jump out into the app.
I wouldn't mind.
Is what you kind of want to do, but
I know Apple has an interest in not doing this, but I'd like to see the name of the device that this is being measured from. Like, if you're connecting with it, you must be able to pull your official product name, like air quality on balcony is being taken from. And I know that you may have named this device air quality, but I see air quality good, air quality, and then icon in black and white, icon in blue. So I think this is maybe a broad brush. I think what they're looking at here is like common components between elements, where these tiles made a lot of sense in their on-off states back here because you could physically turn them off and on by tapping your screen. Here they're using a common component to create a similar layout, but the UI falls apart because, like, why is that grayed out? Like, air quality good doesn't tell me about what I'm clicking into, and it looks like it's disabled, and when I click into it, I get air quality, air quality, air quality.
Yeah, it's
air quality, air quality. Dude, hold on, that's
settings.
5. Air quality, air quality, air quality, air quality. Air quality. It's good. It's good. Ah! Do you know it would be really funny if the air quality wasn't good? So, okay, sorry. I guess the point is that the data that's being pulled here is probably a little generic.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, it's just Apple's kind of settings UI, really.
Do you feel like maybe this is a lazy design effort from Apple? Like, just based on these minutes that we've talked about this?
It makes sense for settings. It's just, I'm in like a home app, and then suddenly I'm in the settings of some, like, you know what I mean? Like, this
I don't think that there's actually any settings here. This is a readout. Like, you can't change anything on the screen, can you?
Yeah, I guess I didn't get the full screenshot. You can change a bunch of stuff. Like, you can change the room, you can add automations and change the name of it and the icons and all that stuff.
Just not to grill you like we're in Scrum or anything, but what happens if I hit this X? Like, if I kill that, all this information goes away, and then air quality goes to bad?
It clears the field.
Oh, just the name of it.
Yeah. So yeah, you're into the naming of the thing, which is a little unexpected from here.
Oh, I accidentally brought up my bar down here. My apps. I'm showing my Adobe colors. I'd prefer not to, I guess. So that's cool. So you tap heater, you get the heater.
Yeah,
we were talking about this the other day. You don't have a smart heater because you have an old shitty furnace like me.
What's that?
You couldn't get the smart thermostat because you have a shitty old furnace like me.
I don't even have a furnace. I just
have
electric.
Something.
I just have electric heaters.
Oh, then the air exchanger makes sense. I have like an old furnace that was upgraded to natural gas. Okay. And so I can't do anything with it. There's like good furnaces, there's 3 or 4 wires that come out of it, and mine has 2. So it's missing extra wires. I'm gonna get those.
Yes, that's what I needed too. It needed to have 3 wires.
I like this UI. I do happen to know that. I mean, look, come on, it's not fun unless we shit on the UI here. But I do know that you don't have a smart thermostat and you cannot adjust the heat, right?
No, I have smart thermostats.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, why not pull that handle that says you can adjust it?
But that's just another, like, that's another, I mean, I guess they're doing, yeah. So that's another interesting thing, like, back in the top, like, when you tap, so if you tap a light, you can turn a light on and off and a switch on and off, but if you tap the heat, if you tap a thermostat, then the heat thing comes up. So it's
that might be an easy thing to fix, some sort of indicator, you know, or maybe just separate.
Yeah,
them.
that's what I find strange, because it's like some things you tap and you have to like do another thing, and other things you tap and it just turns it off. It's like I guess you just kind of get used to it.
I would just want to see different tiles. Like, can we? I mean, you can keep the functionality of the way that these tiles work, but maybe there's different configurations of tiles, or perhaps a set of tiles. Like, there's a really strict design language happening on this panel where it's off and on. And I guess that's good, but you could take these cards and maybe have a look at them and make them a little more robust from a UI perspective to handle things like, no, this isn't a light bulb, this is a device, and you manage it by going into a panel. But it's not super critical for a user, but it's not abundantly clear either. And you know, again, guys, it's 17.5 Den heater heat 217. I guess that's relevant information, but the way that it's broken up is strange, and putting the temperature twice is a little bit strange. And also, this 17.5 on that green background is like well below the threshold of usability, but that's nitpicky. I just think it's kind of a simplified, I don't want to keep saying design language, component library.
I mean, that's what it is. Yeah, and I mean, I get that they have to make it, but you know, like you have, what do you call it in the widgets?
There's widgets.
You know how Apple has like the widget screen.
Yes.
What do you call that?
Yeah.
Even that, like, you know how there's like 3 different versions you can pick for a widget? Like there's the small, medium, large, like, and they have different ways of displaying it. I'm just really surprised it's just, like, it's so limited. Like, why isn't there like
I love that
what if one of these devices is like really important? Like, let's say this living room heater is just super special to me and I want to make it take up like 3 width. You know, like 3 columns wide. You know what I mean? Like, just change the shapes of these. Like, it's just so...
I would say that type of
had an
behavior is
iPad.
maybe like native to, I don't know, what do they call it? Core? Is it still Core? Whatever it is. They're master component library on OS X and iOS. I mean, and maybe that's it. Maybe it takes off. There's some confusing language here. Favorite scenes. What the fuck is a scene? Why? Who sat down? Like, what problem were they facing? And they went, we should call them scenes. And a scene must be like evening, and like everything changes, like a number of things.
I think it makes more sense when it's it kind of makes more sense when it relates to lights.
Specifically lights, yeah.
Doesn't it?
And favorite accessories, that's a list. That's spitting out a list of your accessories ordered by the amount of times you activate it.
You can create that screen. So this
no,
screen
but
is
like this
your
home panel, like you're getting a dashboard here.
Yeah. So you can choose what accessories are under the favorites, and you can order them.
You can?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I would like to see that upper dashboard area become like larger and more graphical.
Me
That
too.
would be neat.
Yeah, like
graphs would be cool.
I mean, yeah, like you said, there's a design language, of course, they need to take into consideration, but yeah, like graphs, like you have data over time could be a graph, and
Well, maybe even
look what
specific
the other
to the
guys do.
climate stuff, but there seems to be a stark contrast in the UI. Again, is there's things that turn off and on, and there's things that you have to modify, and there's things that measure things. Like there's sensors, there's switches, and there's
like sensor switches and like device, like the end devices.
I don't think it would be
Yes.
so bad from the UI perspective to kind of handle those differently, maybe.
Yeah, I agree, because you can have like the switches.
Sorry, I'm actually on the stream's camera view, like jumping around from panels while we're chatting. But yeah, things that switch versus things that you have to dig into to modify. We need an extra panel here. What does that look like? Well, there's an arrow, or there's some sort of extra graphical element on those toggle switches that makes it look more like a toggle switch.
Maybe, yeah, like if you look at, and I mean, I don't think this is the greatest looking example, but if you look at like this Eve app, what it's got with like the heaters and stuff,
I'm going to it. I'm on it.
like you can, it's kind of got different. I mean, this is a list view, and it's not tiled, but like it's got, you know, because this is a heater, it's got now controls to turn the heat up and down, versus this button that you can just click. Like it's at least something.
How
different.
tall do you think those buttons are? Would you fumble with it?
No, I don't think so.
There's a certain height that it needs to be accessible.
They're the same size as these buttons.
I really okay, that's fair. Well, width, not height, but yeah. I also would. I don't know how big those buttons are either at the bottom. I love these graph views for the climate. A lot of the times I think like this is such a, again, mid to late 30s boring dad thing to talk about, but when the furnace comes on, or the house is kind of cold and you're waiting for it to heat up, I wish I could graph those types of things so that I could see what's going on. Like, temperature dipped outside, it took my home 30 minutes to get back there, because we live in a horrible sort of frozen climate. I don't know if you saw the Humidex rating on some of the earlier panels, but it was 80%. So
I've seen
it gets
like up to 97.
It gets cold and it gets wet here, and in like some places like Florida or a Philadelphia, or you know, it's really humid and hot. Yeah, here it's really humid and cold, and it sucks. But anyway, I love the graph view. I want my climate graphed. That's what I want at that top of that
exactly,
dashboard.
and that's what I was using it for. I was like, what's the temperature? Like, oh, I can see how the temperature drops, and then I can see how much I need to turn the heat up. And yeah, I'm trying to figure out how long it takes to heat the room to a temperature. So yeah, to me that stuff's actually really useful, and I like to see the graphs. Everyone likes to see a graph chart. The air quality is kind of wacky. You can see when you turn the ventilation on. But yeah, you can see how much you spend on heat. Wish that data was available. Just like once I hit a certain amount of money, just lock the heaters. Can't turn them on anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that takes an amount of like data sharing that almost seems infeasible. Like I wouldn't expect this app to work with other devices at all. Like, we all know what Apple's track record is. Typically, you would think they would sell a device that does these things, and that's the only thing that works with the Apple HomeKit.
Yeah, I'm really happy that they seem to be working well with other people.
So, up in the upper left, what is home? What is plus? What is the voice icon in the upper right, too?
That's hilarious, and I keep forgetting to play with it, but that lets you do an intercom from my phone to, like, my HomePod speaker.
That rules. I have a sister with teenage daughters, and they have that. And they, like, instead of interacting at all, they just yell at their Alexa show. You know?
Yeah. The home, the home thing just drops down a menu. Plus adds a new accessory. The home thing just drops down another menu that lets you select like each individual room, which is what all these things are.
Yeah, the rooms look a little bit weird to me. Like, it's just kind of the same panel. I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, just I don't know.
Cause like when I go into Office, I guess the rooms indicator is lit up. I don't know.
And I mean, maybe this is all meant to be controlled by your voice too. Like I think that was the original intent of it all, right? Was to talk to Siri and Alexa and all that stuff. I find that not a good way to interface with technology. Honestly, it doesn't work that well.
Yeah, no.
I'm always just using this app, so maybe I'm not. Maybe this app feels more like where you go to set your stuff up. Like you can set up, you add all your devices and name them and put them in rooms, right? That makes sense. It just doesn't feel like it's not that inspiring to use. It almost feels like, yeah, this whole app is like a settings app. Versus like the actual UI that you're supposed to use. The UI is your voice, but the voice just doesn't. I don't want to be doing that, for one, and two.
Well, people haven't bit. Like they haven't bit on the voice thing that the way the brands want you to, which is deeper engagement, right? It's not just a voice. We're not just controlling it with the voice. It's an opportunity to engage deeper with the user. But people aren't biting. Not in my perspective, anyway.
It doesn't work well enough. And I guess, all these other devices have, you can still use the light switches. You can still use the thermostat buttons. You don't need to use the app. I just think there's other apps, like, I downloaded some other HomeKit app that, like, taps into it. That's like lets you create another, like it's almost like a third-party version of this Apple Home app. It's not really much better, but what I found interesting was like the Eve app, like it doesn't just like it doesn't just show its devices. It shows all my other stuff in there too. So that makes me think, well, then there's nothing stopping somebody from designing the app that has the same connections. It just takes that same data, displays it differently, takes the same UI and styles it differently. You know what I mean? The guts are the same, but it's just
yeah, the guts are fine. The UI is like extremely lackluster, and it's not as communicative as it could be. I mean, the experience of a dashboard, I think part of the experience of the dashboard is to get like excited about the experience. Hold on, let me try and find a better way to qualify that. You're visualizing things and you're using like infographic type visual tactics to give people this real complete and satisfying sense of what they're looking at. And if you're not doing that, it's not really a dashboard. It's just like we've taken the nav and put it on a page. What does that home
Yeah,
button in
give
the
me an,
upper left do? It's driving me nuts.
It's a drop-down menu for all the rooms.
But the room icon. The room icon is different, and then the home icon is the home icon. Is there a good case for that? I'm trying to figure that out. It makes sense. Then I tap my home and I get a list of rooms because I'm looking at my home.
Yeah, that's probably what they're going for.
Based on what the UI that we're looking at right here is home equals home. Down on the nav here. I don't know. I just noticed this clock icon is making a check mark, and that is good work. Huh? It's the little things.
That is good.
It's the little things. Did you know there's an arrow in the FedEx logo? It makes
I did
consumers feel better when they don't even know it, because they're like, my package is moving forward. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just working on this dumb UI thing over here. My more graphy presentation. Maybe it's not a graph. Some sort of graph. Maybe it's like a particle grid, or maybe it's a word cloud.
Ooh.
Okay. I want to fill my smart home with speakers, or microphones rather, and I want it to record everything that everybody says and then just give me a word cloud. Like, so when I come home at the end of the day, I can measure sentiment. Do you know what I mean? Before I go in my house, I as a user want to know what the temperature of my house is before I go into it.
Yep.
See, again, could be done. Apple needs to catch up. Where are we at here? All right, let's take a quick break. A very quick break. We're at about 50 minutes in here.
Check on the status of my smart home.
Yeah, check on your smart home. Let us know. We're gonna come back. I want to keep playing with the UI here because I think I don't want to say for sure, but I feel like some people at Apple are probably gonna see this and get in touch real soon. So
I'm pretty sure they watch our show.
Everybody watches our show. We don't have any. I mean, not right now, not in this moment. In this broadcast moment, I wouldn't say that anybody's watching the show, but hey, you know, we're going for it. All right, we'll be back in 5 minutes. That's it. And we're back. Look at
We're
that
back.
scene transition. Smooth.
It's beautiful.
That's
My-
pretty good. So, we're talking home automation here. I feel like it's got
Home
kind of
automation
like a Sunday morning home improvement vibe, you know?
Talking
Like not
home
Bob
automation.
Vila. Like Bob Vila was like the classy version of what I'm talking about, but then like decades later you got like your home guys on TBS, you know? Maybe you don't. I
think I
wanted to
do.
pull up some stuff because we're talking home automation, and Apple is an ecosystem, right? Like Apple has products that it supports and products that it doesn't support, which is kind of a pain. And I think if you're like, I want to automate my home, like this is something I'm going to dive into, you're going to want to start looking into Arduinos and Raspberry Pis and little tiny computers that you can do anything you want with. I'm trying to find the right article. Here's something from Raspberry Pi Tutorials. I'm going to pull this up in our stream zone here. I'll reveal my desktop a little bit.
Raspberry Pi.
So, Raspberry Pis are really cool. They're very small computers that are cheap. And if you're a hobbyist and you want to do stuff with them, you can do whatever the hell you want with them. So you can get these cool sensors for them. They have pretty much every kind of sensor: temperature, humidity, air pressure, gas, motion sensor, navigation modules, infrared, Bluetooth support, motors, analog sensors, servos, mechanical pieces that can, collect data by their movement and that kind of stuff. And to me, that's where it gets pretty cool, because then you're into building little machines that are essentially your own weather center, or they are your own smart switches. Look at the size of that barometer.
That's cool.
Ian, that's a barometer. It senses the barometric pressure, and you could hide that in a little case.
How does that sense anything?
I have no idea. Imagine in the 1800s, there was like a guy in a lab with like a vacuum tube full of gas, like measuring air pressure. And you're like, nah, man, check it out.
Yo, have you tried this?
Yo, dog.
You have a BMP 180?
He's like, why, sir, how does this work? I'm like, yo, I have no fucking clue, dog. You should check out this tutorial at Raspberry Pi Tutorials, though.
like aliens.
He's like, why, yes, the
Just-
aliens taught us
just
how to
wait.
make wagon wheels.
Wait 20 years and the aliens will bring us technology.
Yeah, it's all good. It's just electricity.
Transistors are from aliens.
A moisture sensor?
mean, I guess
thinking?
that-
You know what I'm thinking here. You know what I'm thinking here? A little maybe under the mattress cover, little. Like if you pee the
You're
bed.
peeing
like,
the bed.
and-
You're peeing the bed.
It's like
Just wait.
everything turns
you can-
on.
You can
every-
detect that, and you can make the lights in your room flash red, and it'll
Yes.
be like, you're peeing the bed. You're peeing the bed. That could be done. It could text all your friends and say Nick peed the bed.
Call Nick. He's peeing the bed right now, and he needs
But see,
someone
the
to help
potential-
intervene.
When you get all these sensors combined with devices connected, like the potential is like unlimited. Yet I can't do any of this crap with my home app yet.
The great example of what we're talking
Frustrating.
about here is that Mark Rober glitter bomb thing that he does. With the porch pirates, they steal the package and it like farts all over their kids and sprays glitter in their nose and whatever. That's
Puts them on uploads. What's that? A gas sensor?
a gas sensor, yeah. But yeah, like being able to just
Senses
engineer
gas.
things out of chips. Gas sensors can detect different gases at room temperature. Okay, again, you see what I'm thinking here.
Mm-hmm.
Someone has passed gas.
Fart detected.
These Raspberry Pis detect motion, but not all of them are real motion sensors. Okay, I want the real one. hypersonic sound.
Sound detector? That's cool.
I actually worked on a
Like,
project.
How do you? Yeah.
I actually worked on a project adjacent to these, and they're really interesting. Magnetic switch. Oh, dude. So this is where you can tell if something is open or closed or not. So you would attach one of these magnetic switches to like the top and the bottom of the door frame, and when you open the door, it like by breaking that magnetic connection, you're essentially setting off a switch.
Eve, the company that makes my air quality thing, has those as well.
Okay.
Where they have them for so you can put them on a door or a window. The door is ajar.
The door is ajar. Your front door is open.
You are being robbed.
An infrared distance meter? That is so friggin' cool. So, you know when you go to Home Depot and you buy an infrared distance meter and it costs you $65.99 and it's the size of a small football that you hold in your hand? This is the frigging functioning piece that they stuck into a metal case, you know, connected to a readout to give you your infrared distance meter. Like, those components are very small. We put it in a big form factor. Yeah, I know. Don't buy anything. Just learn how to code Python. An RFID card reader? I want all these things. I don't even know what I would do with it.
When someone walks in my front door, it detects that they're opening the door, and then it skims their credit card and orders Uber Eats.
Okay.
For us, but
instantly,
they think it's me buying it. They think it's me buying it, but it's really them paying. And they're like,
no, they're like,
hey,
thanks for coming over. I ordered some Beast Burger. By all means, I ordered my favorite Uber Eats meme restaurant. Navigation mode, best known GPS receiver. Cool, it's a little pad. I'd say get your GPSs. A gyroscope? Man, that's some tiny, huh?
Wow.
Compass, obviously.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so anyway, in the broader scheme of home automation, like this is where I think you could get into doing whatever the hell you want. Oh, Bluetooth adapter.
Oh, you can make things Bluetooth.
Yeah, the Raspberry Pi's like has Bluetooth on board now, which is pretty cool.
What's that?
Infrared diodes.
Oh, a diode. I don't know what I would do with a diode.
This reads infrared signals, I think. And there's a laser module. Speaking of laser modules, I was showing my son Styro Pyro's channel the other night. That dude who, like, he's like, this is a microwave, and now I'm hooking up 50 microwaves to it.
I made a gun by accident. I guess I'll just shoot it. Probably not safe.
I know. I saw this like light go off in my 8-year-old's brain. Like, oh my god! Like, I want to make my life about shooting lasers at toast.
I don't blame
servo motors. This is pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool. You can make a thing do something.
You can make a thing do something.
Like physical,
servos.
Like a physical thing.
Servos. Make
no, but like
thing,
I could.
Do
I'm wondering, like
a physical thing.
I have a bunch of stuff that can't be smart, but could I make a servo like press a button, right? That's what they do, right? Like a servo is like a physical mechanism.
This doesn't look like it's powerful enough to do anything, but maybe like, I don't know, open a flange.
I'm trying to figure out how to make like my air conditioner smarter. I need to be able to turn it on and off remotely. Like I just need to like. How do you like take a circuit, like a switch, and just put a thing in the middle of it so that I can now remotely control it?
Well, you can control the on-off easily enough. But you mean how do you hack its brain?
I guess, how would I trigger that servo from?
Oh, this. I mean, I think if you were like to build a servo that could push a button on something else, you would have to code some sort of interface. You'd probably have to run a command through terminal that's like,
That's too hard for me.
yeah. Yeah, we're getting away from the Apple Home thing, which is, it looks nice. It's okay. That was a brief detour. Let's get back to the dashboard
Fun.
interface. Unless there's anything else you wanted to look at while I have a browser open. Should we look at porn? I'm just kidding. Get back.
Home.
We just got flagged. This video can never be monetized. How do we do this better? I don't want that rooms button up there, y'all. And I don't want that plus button either. The fuck? It's a dashboard. Also, we have this navigation at the bottom. Now, I'm sure when you're talking UI that Apple has a bunch of data and research and cool things that they've done to identify that that's the best course of action. Maybe? Did they?
I mean, I want to say yes. I feel like it's almost like they're not trying to step. They know that if they try and take one step outside of this kind of mediocre thing, then it's kind of like if they start, then they've got to keep going, I guess.
I wonder too.
Just like, here it is. We don't want to start fancying this up because then
we need to wait for user uptake, maybe. Let's go far enough. Let's go far enough with our MVP here that if people like it, it justifies the next effort, which is making this more robust. I should spell favorite the American way because I feel like most people would look at that. In Canada, you spell favorites with a U.
Yeah, I always do the American too.
I do because I work with so many American companies that they'll point it out and they're like, it's not wrong.
Well, Americans will get bothered by something like that, but Canadians don't care. So
it really never comes up. You would never think to interrupt a meeting to be like, that's spelled differently than I understand. We have a 3-up on the accessories. I'll just make this panel real long. You can't see it on stream, but we'll get to it. Are you yawning on YouTube?
You can't yawn on YouTube.
Listen, shit ass. What's his name? Larry something. He's gonna be pissed about this. We're trying to make a name for ourselves. What's beyond favorites? Is that the end?
Huh?
Oh, what's her name? Susan? Right. And we're banned. No, I think that's it for the dashboard. There isn't.
Frig sauce. Yeah, I don't even know what I'd want to do with this stupid thing. Just the way things are grouped is weird. Even.
No, it's not.
It's just a big jumble.
It feels like we're nitpicking, but we're not. I don't think
even this view is kind of better in that, at least it splits. This is just one big jumble where this one splits them out. But I guess it's supposed to be a dashboard.
I hate how it splits it out. It's doing it in the laziest fucking way possible. It's just some standardized icons. They're not. It's just could be done so much better. Now here's the question. Well, we can get. Okay, well, let me pull the stream back here. I see a large climate component at the top of this. And And I think that we can get into some other high-level information, like 2 lights on, 2 fans on. What the fuck does that information mean to me?
That's the thing. Like, I personally,
Like, I'm like,
don't
oh shit, there
care.
was 6 lights on now, and before it was 8. Like, that's stupid.
Yeah, I that doesn't interest me personally.
I
wonder
think
if I
that
can
you
get rid
could
of them.
still, I think that you could still include it.
Oops. I just turned all the lights off by tapping it.
Did you? I can't even
Cool.
see you. While we're doing these streams, we have so many conversations. Like right now, I'm looking at the camera, but I'm looking at a camera, not even you. Should have lost. Damn. Anyway, so a larger weather widget. These kinds of this circular presentation in here, this I guess iconographic presentation in here is nice because these elements stack repeatedly. Like, so I think it probably goes to 4, maybe 5 in a row, and then it would continue to wrap down the screen. So hypothetically, if you had 15 of these icons on your dashboard, they're all going to fit there nicely. I think that there's a case to say that they're not one and the same. Maybe get those icons down in a different place. Maybe get those circles down below our climate graph, because I want a fucking
Yeah, I
climate
think so.
graph. Oh look, I don't have the user research to determine this, but I want a fucking climate graph the second I open this
Well,
shit
that's what
up.
I want. I mean, like, it's almost like different variations for different widgets. Like, if you didn't want the climate graph, you don't have to have it there, but you could like toggle it. Just like the normal widgets, you get like the bigger, the small, medium, large. Like, you can have the weather widget can be this tiny little thing that just shows you like the temperature, or you can have like the big version where it's got a bunch of other stuff on it. You know what I mean?
What if somebody doesn't have a temperature sensor?
Well, then I guess they don't have this data. That's fine.
So what does the UI look like?
It's not there.
So let's look at it as horizontal straps.
Oh,
So if climate exists, then include climate component. This is really nitpicky for UI stuff. I think the conditions that we would detail here are a little bit nitpicky, but if climate goes to top. That's a great visual presentation. And for the most part, when you engage in this app, an overview of your host very much includes temperature and humidity and that kind of stuff. So
I think so.
we'll just call this climate. Climate overview.
Climate, sure.
Device overview. Hold on, we'll get there. Sorry, I'm moving ahead. No, wait, I'm not. You got your climate overview, device overview. There's 2 fans on. There's 2 lights on. What other kind of devices would there be?
Yeah, what else? There could be fans, lights. I mean, other people had like sprinklers.
Yeah, there must be a sprinkler brand out there that integrates with this.
There was like garage doors, like so you could have like doors open and windows open, blinds open, stuff like that. Yeah, stuff that's open or closed.
Apple HomeKit devices. iOS home accessories. Because for each one of these things, you need to account with an icon and a view. Air conditioners, air purifier, bridges, cameras, doorbells, fans, faucets, garage doors, humidifiers, lights, locks, outlets,
Oh yeah, locks.
receivers, routers, security sensors, speakers, sprinklers, switches, thermostats, TVs, windows.
Locks are an interesting one. I don't have locks, but that's something that you might care about.
Do you know,
security.
I don't know if I'm like a paranoid tech nerd or not, but I could be laying in bed and be like, I haven't locked the front door, and hit lock in the app, and it could say, we definitely locked your door. I would still have to get up and check it.
That's fair. I think lock is too important to.
Like, you need the physical interaction to feel, to feel good enough to lay next to your fan that's on to drown out the noise to get you to sleep.
Yes. Exactly. Lulled with your like soothing lights.
So, I mean, here's one case for the UI that we're looking at is that in the utmost of interconnected applicant homes, that row of icons underneath townhouse might be 30 fucking items long. In which case, this would look terrible.
Yeah. You'd want to like, and that's when you'd want to like, and user of audience of one right now, but that's when you'd want to like customize it a bit, I think, which you kind of can, I to an extent. But like maybe you just wouldn't want all those things there.
Or maybe there's an element type for each.
Okay, so you
like,
can.
you
can remove each item from there.
Can you? I'm looking at favorite accessories because it just gives you a big list of accessories. But like maybe switches are cards, and air purifiers are stackable elements because it makes sense for them to be longer. Like maybe there's a view for each of these that you get. So your dashboard, no, you couldn't. That's a tough one.
I kind of think. I mean, in a sense, that's kind of what you want.
Yeah, it's just that, like, what if it's 100 items long problem?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What problem are we trying to solve here? Pull that up. Oh, I'm working on the wrong screen. Actually, maybe I'll just work on the screen because it looks kind of cool. So your place is called Townhouse. That's what you've named it.
I'm just looking at. Yeah, there's like What's this? Security devices.
That's an important one
motion
too.
sensors, smoke detectors. See, that's something that.
But what is the status of a smoke detector? It's either on.
Yeah,
or
really.
it's
I
not.
only care if it's not working.
But yeah, you can never turn it off or on. I guess that's why I say you need almost like a card or a view considered for each device type in the design, because you can't turn a smoke detector off and on.
Yeah, exactly. Like
it needs to be handled differently. Is there smart smoke detectors? Sorry, I'm looking this up. Smart smoke detector.
What does it do? Heat, smoke, smoke sensor, smoke. What? Heat sensor, smoke sensor. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what more it would do than a normal smoke thing.
They're much more expensive.
It turns. It says when smoke's detected, power on all the lights. I guess so you can see your way out of your house.
I'm seeing some smart smoke detectors that have cameras in them. Whoa, Nest Labs, Nest Protect line. Oh, Google Nest makes one. That's fucking cool. I bet you like Google Assistant calls the fire department and is like, there is a fire present at street number and street name.
Fire.
Philips Hue makes one. The smart smoke detectors, the off-brand ones, just have that third wire, that third data wire, that data link.
The it must need
It needs like up, down, and then data wire. Smart thermostat with voice control.
well, what's the smoke detector wouldn't need any wires.
Wait, dude, how does a smoke detector work? Like, what action is happening there?
For real, I actually did a science project on it.
Okay.
It's there's a radioactive material inside of it, and it's sending I'm gonna get it wrong, but it's ionizing the particles or something, and it's sending particles from one plate to another. So there's a stream, there's something happening between two areas, and when smoke gets in there, it fucks it up. So it stops whatever's getting sent.
That's what I'm
oh,
reading.
Shit, there's a fire.
There's a tiny bit of like,
141.
there's a tiny bit of like cesium or some shit in there, and it ionizes the air particles, and they bounce back and forth, and the thing detects when that flow of ionizing particles gets interrupted.
Yeah.
That rules. There's a documentary out there about a kid who like collected enough magnesium from fucking smoke detectors to make his own mini reactor.
I remember because smoke detectors have a radioactive symbol on them, and we had to do a project about like radiation, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna figure out what that's all about.
What is the radioactive material? American
Americium-141. That was what it was when I did it anyway.
241.
Oh.
Americium. So americium must be like an extremely low ionizing.
It was made in a lab. Yeah, it's an element that one of the ones that they just made.
It's radioactive with a half-life of 432 years. I says, well, I'm going to stay with an exciting energy, and then a half-life of blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's just like a low-level, like it's radioactive, but it's not like the real shit. It's not the thorium, or it's not the
it's not
cesium.
Good. Yeah.
It's not like the stuff that they put in X-ray machines. Okay, cool. Smart fire detector. I mean, there's only one use case for a smart fire detector, which is my house. I, as a user, want to know if my house is burning down while I'm
not home. It's like you get a text. It's like, hey, your house is gone.
It's gone. Hey, kiss all your shit goodbye. I hope the fire department gets there because there's nothing you or I can do. That's what I want my smart smoke detector to do, is to send me a short paragraph about the loss of things and why they weren't important and how you're going to rebuild. Listen.
Exactly.
Things have gone bad, and I understand.
Start rebuying my stuff from me already.
Or maybe like a smart smoke detector that's really fire resistant and gives you a play-by-play, you know, of its own death.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's getting too hot in here. I have to go to sleep soon. I'm sorry I let you down.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm trying to think of the benefit of the smoke. If the smoke sensor had the other stuff in it, like humidity and temperature, air quality, it's like, oh, cool. But I couldn't justify buying one of those things. What would it do?
Maybe the
really
battery. It would let you know when to replace the batteries. I mean, they do anyway because they make that noise, that beeping noise. I'm in Amazon and I've Googled smart. I'm in Amazon and I've searched smart device. What do you think the first result is?
Amazon's products.
Something called Hoobs All-in-One Box, Automation Home Wi-Fi Connector and Smart Outlet.
What?
I don't even know what it does.
Hoops.
It's a little box that connects to your Wi-Fi that helps connect your home automation stuff. It's got a very nice dashboard, to be honest. I gotta get this. I wonder if I can get this on stream.
Drop it in.
Hold on. I gotta open up my HTML inspector to steal this image illegally. So if you check out the stream view, you can see it. So we're getting weather. We're getting weather in here. We have some data on the right. Bridge name, don't give a fuck. Username, FFFFFFF, I don't give a fuck. Home bridge port, home setup pin. This is data that users don't care about because they don't care. Hold on, I'm taking some of this back. That graph up top says Hoobs running, cool. CPU, memory, uptime. Those might be real things. It's kind of cool. For the Apple Home app, scan this QR code. Anyway, this is more of a dashboard presentation, I guess. It's not good. I said it was good, and then I pasted it in here, and then I was like, it's not good. Also, who needs the fucking weather? Every device on the planet gives me the weather. That's not why I'm here. Hoobs. Did you turn your camera off?
Yeah, I hear a weird noise.
You heard a weird noise? This is happening on stream, folks. Let's. Do you know if you had a smarter home, you would know? A motion sensor, Raspberry Pi motion sensor, under each doorway with those magnetic strips, so you could tell when things open and closed. Are you back? Are you murdered? Did you die?
Don't know. Maybe it was something outside. Got to stop listening to all those like spooky.
So, did you watch that? Did you watch that one I sent you?
Which one?
The Ghosts of Carmel, Maine.
Oh man, I must have. I've watched so many of those. Maybe I didn't.
I don't know why. When I can't sleep at night, I like to watch ghost and murder videos.
I legit had to turn one off because I was like, why am I watching this before bed?
I'm okay when I'm in bed. Once those blankets go over top of you, you're invincible. You can watch and read anything. Okay. Smart home stuff. It's a real mess. It's a real debacle. I don't like Google Home's apps. I think it's pretty clear that they've gone for a card-based layout, and that works because it's fun, and you can put background pictures in for each of your rooms. In another breath, it's not at all doing enough to communicate what it actually does for you or what is actually going on.
Yeah, it's taken me a while to learn how to use it. Like, it's just not like some things you tap and then some things you tap and they just activate, and other things you tap and it opens up like a screen to do more stuff. And like, yeah, I find myself accidentally turning off lights or turning on. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just Apple is so Apple. And then, you know.
I think if you take the concept of cards, like, so these are cards and 3 fit in a row, and they need to denote a number of different devices. Like, they've gone with name of living room hall light. So 2 lines for the name of the actual device, and then some status line. Like, I just think you could do a lot more in there to communicate what's going on. I also want a graph. I want a fucking graph on my dashboard. How's my house doing? Is my lights, am I using less lights than I am yesterday? It almost doesn't matter. Develop like comparative statistics for devices that you can look at in a visualized format. And that's interesting for users. That's compelling. It's visually compelling. It's it gives you a good sense, you know? Smart homes. Turns out you can just turn switches off and on via Wi-Fi, and you'd think that would have been invented a long time ago.
And it still only kind of works half awesomely.
Do you like my toque?
I like it. I left mine at my parents' place.
Did you have one too? It says Christmas Daddy on it. Because I was the Christmas Daddy this year.
You
Given
were
that I have
the
kids.
Christmas daddy.
I was the Christmas Daddy. We live in a place in Canada where our annual telethon, I don't know if this is a thing other places, but it's called Christmas Daddies.
I think it's only here.
Right? Is it only here? I think the presumption is that dads got together at one point in time to donate to the community, and it became this big thing. And now they're probably going to change the name because Christmas Daddies doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel good. Doesn't have a good mouthfeel anymore. Anyway, our good friend at Milkcaps, milkcaps.ca, made these awesome toques and gave one of us each for Christmas that says Christmas Daddies on it. I would check it out. It's pretty cool. Milkcaps.ca.
Like it.
That guy, that fucking guy, he's not busy, is he?
No.
He's over there twiddling his thumbs. I bet. Busiest person I've ever met in my life. Anyway. I think that about wraps it.
Yeah, that's... Just did a lot of talking. Thinking out loud.
I like
about
to think
home,
out
the world
loud.
of home, and we're just scratching the surface.
I get a
Feels
deep
that.
satisfaction out of ripping on UI. It's so fun. But yeah,
It is. I'd much rather that. I wish that was my job.
that'd be pretty cool. You should look at direction. Say, hi, I'm a UI director. Like, oh, okay. And
Getting
then
there.
Then you go after it. I almost said art director. All right, well, that's it. That's a Thursday night. Thank you so much for joining us. That was Home Automation. That was the
Yeah,
UX
send us-
review.
What are you doing with your smart home? Do you have any wild dreams and desires not currently satisfied by your smart home solution? Your connected
Yeah,
home?
that's a good one. Ask the
Let us
users
know.
a question.
What's cool? What's cool?
What
do
is
you want
cool?
to do that you can't
What are
do?
you
What
doing?
have you seen that's
Draft
neat?
your
I
setups.
just
Ask us questions. We'll figure it out. I'd also like to issue the Home Automation Challenge. And that's where you take as many Google Nests, Apple Home Hubs, Amazon Shows. You stack them up and you try and run across them like a sort of a wacky bridge. You know what I mean?
yeah, like for real.
No, like for real, like that's, I think we need to get like a smart device challenge on the go, and that's going to be really big for our channel because we started it.
I agree.
I agree. All right. Thank you so much.
Cool. All right.
Happy
friends.
Thursday
See
evening.
you next time.
Tomorrow is New Year's. I guess that's it for 2021.
That's it.
That's it. All right, guys. Have a good night.